Hello, my friends. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me. Another amazing Sunday, I hope. All right, there we go. I have the same shirt as yesterday with the cats. I don't know if you can see that these are actual cat portraits. All right, so today we have a pretty cool stream about dynamic images, basically. How to do them with Midjourney. We could also today I'm doing it with Midjourney because if I'm doing it with Stable Diffusion locally, I can't stream at the same time, right? Yeah, so that's basically the reason. But we're gonna look into that. Let me find the chat so I can say hello to some people. Oh yeah, here. Let's click the add button also so you get a little bit bombarded. There we go. Okay. All right, so let's see who is here. Hi Cubic, how are you doing? Please tell me where you're from in the chat. That would be amazing. Hi Eric from Vienna, long-time viewer. Hi Shaluk, how are you doing? Also long-time viewer for years and years. So that's pretty cool. Who else do we have? Hi Abbas, how are you doing? MJ, hi. Thanks for joining. Portos, hi. Viachero, hi from Que Esperamos? No. Does that mean if I speak English? No, I don't. Spanish? No, I don't. Oh God, I can't read the Ixie. Let's just say Ixie. Hi, how are you doing? It's really perfect for 3D using depth maps. That's a good idea. You can't do that on Midjourney, but on Stable Diffusion, that's absolutely a thing, right? Who else do we have here? Graphical Boss. Hi, how are you doing? Chira's Art. Hi, thanks for joining. Andreas, hi from Sweden. Barris, hi. Brian from California. Cyberverse, hi. MG from the Switzerland. Jonathan from Philadelphia, hi. AI Video from Slovenia, hi. Cyberverse from UK London, hi. I was there last year, by the way. Rita from Germany, hey, I'm German too, but I'm living in Vienna. But if you ever visit, let me know. Oh, my camera just, oh no, it's okay. Is my stream that delayed? I don't know. Who else is here? Barris from Turkey, hi. Paulo from Portugal. Boric from Vancouver, hi. I'm from Marius from Cyfree? Where's that? I don't know. Okay, cool. William from Chicago, hi. Awesome. So many people here. Christine from Delaware, USA, hi. Greeting from France, also cool. Hi, Eduardo, how are you doing? Utaran from Newark, hi. So lots of people here. Rodaslav from Sweden, hi. South Sweden, actually. Okay, cool. Scene from Texas, awesome. Wellington from Brazil, so many people here. That's really awesome. I really love that. Okay, so today we're talking about like composition, dynamic images, things like that. So first of all, let's address the problem here. And I see that I have closed my Midjourney tab, so I need to open that up again. Oh no, and I'm signed out too. That's great. 1 second before I switch over my screen. There we have the community feed. All right, cool. So now I need to find OBS. And then let's switch here. Okay, and then let's move some stuff over here. That looks good. Okay, cool. So here we have the community stream. And as you know, with Midjourney, but also with Stable Diffusion, everything is centered. You see, even the mountain is like completely in the center. So it's really hard to get things off center. And by the way, this is not just Midjourney. A lot of people, and this is probably why this looks that way. Let's go to Unsplash here. Take photos that are centered too, or where a lot of stuff is happening in the center. For example, on Unsplash, you find a lot of photos. You see all the characters here, all the action most of the time. This is a little bit off center here, but most of the time, the main thing that is happening in the center. And that is actually not so great because dynamic perspectives and dynamic compositions have a lot more story in them. You can tell something and things can move in them. That's the most important part. If you put something in the center, it's kind of fixed there, right? It makes the image very powerful and expressive, but at the same time, it is kind of fixed. Now here with this image, you can see that at least the person is a little bit from the side and there's a little bit like he is in the center, but he's looking a little bit diagonally, right? So there's a little bit more motion in there. But let's see, let's find another image. You see here, if you have this person here, very much in the center, very stable, not very moving. There is not like, it's just fixed in there, right? It makes the person in the center of the image more powerful. Yeah, but that's, yeah, it's often not great. So I want to look at some alternatives here, of course, right? And this also, I think, is still a big, like here, for example, we have something with off balance. And you can right away see how more interesting that is. You have a tree, which is still very centered, but it's a little bit to the left. And then you have a person here a little bit to the right. And this gives more dynamic to the image. When the person would be more in the center, less dynamic, more powerful, but yeah, less story in there, right? So, oh, okay. So you can see most of that stuff is very, very centered. Rule of thirds, I tried that and it made the lines on the picture. It didn't actually do something. I also tried asymmetrical, stuff like that, off-center. Like Midjourney is very, very stuck to putting things into the center of the image. Now, let's look a little bit about composition, because most people think, well, there is the golden cut, golden rule, golden whatever, and then you have the rule of thirds, and that's basically it. And there's not much more, right? You have this kind of cross thing also, but there is so much more to composition. So here we have 15 types of composition. I found that very cool post here that you should check out from muddycolors.com. And here we have nice sketches of compositions that are used in drawing. And this, by the way, this topic came to me when I was thinking about how did I classically do art and approach an artwork and approach drawing or painting and things like that. And the thing is, you of course, most of the time you start with the composition and you start to balance the elements. But with AI, you don't really have that because the image just pops out. You can write the prompt, but you don't draw in things. Like we still that would be better to have an interface where we can draw on that. We have that with Mask. You can draw scenes, stuff like that. And also they are working on, NVIDIA is doing things where you can draw out a scene. For now, you can just like a little bit photo bash it and then use this as an example. So let's here talk a little bit on these, golden ratio, right? But there's also this kind of golden spiral and things like that, right? I forgot right now what it's called. Sorry, my brain is, again, not working. Anyways, so here we have some examples. You can see here, this here, for example, is unbalanced. You have a big object on the right, on the left, and then a small object on the right. It doesn't matter, it can be all the other way around. So in this case, I don't know if you can, I guess you can see that, right? So there's a big tree and then there's a small tree next to it, right? So in this case also, it's using similar objects. The reason for that is so you can actually define that they are not in different distances, but they are at the same distance, but they are a different height from each other, right? With trees. That makes sense, right? Or a tree in the bush, something like that. You can also use that, by the way, if you have exactly the same object and you make it smaller. Of course, this is then perspective. Like, for example, buildings getting smaller, that's perspective. And you can create perspective with that by repeating the same object to like just, of course, you're not drawing, but when you just like think about the scene. Now, this next one here is centered. As you can see, we have a hill here in the middle. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe a big cloud or something. Here, this is also interesting, where we have an empty space in the middle and then a lot of stuff around that, right? So here you can see there's a lake in the middle and then we have mountains and we have grass and bushes and stuff like that in the background. Here we have an S shaped river through a landscape, which you often see in photography, right? We could probably also pull up some images here. River landscape. Let's see what we get here. Not exactly an S-shaped river. There's a little bit of stuff going on here. Yeah. So this is a classical theme, like just a river winding through the landscape, right? Of course, also this kind of U-shaped here thing. So let's go back to that page here. Let's go through a little bit more of these compositions. And of course, you can also combine them, right? If you want to do multiple things at the same time. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to say down here. But let's go here and look at some other compositions. Oh yes, the triangle composition, that is very classical. It's also used in the in Christian art often. Actually, let's look this up. Triangle composition, classic painting. Let's see. What do we have here? Not really triangle. This is triangle here. It doesn't show a triangle, but you can see that these characters here and then the standing character, this creates a triangle. Oh, there we have it. So you can, and this is something that is very often used, right? It's kind of symmetrical also. In this case, it's symmetrical. And the main reason why you want to do that, of course, is to create some dynamic. You want to create some purpose. You want to create some story of what is going on in the scenery. Maybe I should describe this also because I prepared another image. Of course, in this case, whoa, I didn't want to click on that. You have these kneeling figures here, left and right, and then Maria probably with Jesus, I guess. In this case, she is more powerful. She's standing, they're kneeling, they're looking up to her. Let's have a look at the corrected. Oh, okay, yeah. I wrote that wrong. Okay, let me see. Where is the picture I prepared? Oh, there we go. Alma Tadema. I really like that painter. He is kind of kitschy. Kind of cozy from the way he's painting, but I saw his paintings in original. They are really, really amazing to look at, and he's very like good at creating these scenes, right? So hey, actually we could let me put this over in Affinity Photo, because there I can actually draw on the canvas to show you what is going on. So let me have a brush here real quick. Let me maybe have pink. You can see that very well. Can you see all of that? Yes, you can. Okay, cool. So a lot of stuff is going on here because he's very, very good at composition. And dynamic between the different elements in art is very important. This is what right now is kind of missing from AI images. This is why often they look great, but they don't really feel like they don't really fill much of a purpose right now. They are just aesthetic in many cases. Because creating these compositions and stories and connections and things in an image, that is a lot of what art is about, right? Especially art that is like visual arts, right? Illustration, things like that, right? Okay, so let's have a look here. What is happening here? And another thing that's very important to remember is if you look at a painting, but also if you look at a photograph or a movie that is staged, everything in there, of course, is just in there because the artist decided to do it like that. So all of that has purpose and all of that has meaning. Nothing in there is by accident, if it's a good artist, right? Okay, so here we have, for example, a person lying on the ground. Now, why is there a person lying on the ground, right? Of course, you can see here that we have a line back from the feet, from the left side here, going along and then slightly bending upwards. And then we have his gaze. And also you can see that the arm is moving up. This is moving up here. And then he's looking right here at this guy. So this is for your eye to follow that line. And also it creates a dynamic between these two characters, right? When you look closer at his, like the way he's looking at him, he's intensely listening to what this person is saying, right? So there's a huge dynamic between these two. Then in the background, you can see we also have two people here, but there's more going on, right? So especially when we look at the woman here, well, what can you see here? So she's looking at him, of course. So that's, of course, a line, but also she is lying like this, but then her arm is extending and we have a musical instrument and then we have flowers and then this connects and here is his hand with some stuff sticking out and this is connecting also to him. So we have another line. So you see, there's a line and then there's a line going upwards with the gaze like this and then we have the gaze like this. So everything is coming together. Everything is kind of pointing at this character here. Also, by the way, another interesting thing, you have here these two arms of them and they are connecting and they are also kind of pointing at that guy, right? So all of that is planned in the image, right? Now, there's another very interesting thing happening here in this image. When you look at it, on the left side, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So person here, instruments, person, another person, stuff is here. There's a sea in the background and blah, blah. There's stairs here and all that kind of stuff. So lots of stuff going on. Very noisy, right? Very busy. And then we have here this part, bloop. There's kind of like a visual line here. And then this guy's sitting completely alone. There's nothing else happening here. Just that guy. There's no instruments. There's no other stuff around him. He could have put some flowers down here and maybe a vase over here in the foreground and stuff like that. But that would make it, again, very noisy, very busy. But we want to concentrate on this guy. Yeah, so you can see that there is a very like interesting balance between these two sides of the image. And you can even see here that you have a visual gap here between these busy characters. Like there is nothing here for a short time, and everywhere else there's something happening, and then here is nothing happening in between these two lines, right? So that's really interesting, right? So all of that kind of composition thing, that is pretty interesting. Now another thing, by the way, that's very interesting in painting, but also in modern movies, is that they don't use a lot of colors. Mostly, this looks like, I mean, this specifically doesn't look like it does have a lot of colors, but even other paintings don't use a lot of colors. So here, basically, what you have is you have a little bit of blue tones here, and then the rest, like here, and this is like all of that. This is all brown tones. Then here you have a little bit of orange and red, and that's it. There's not really much more going on, right? So you have beige tones, blue tones, red tones. That's the whole thing. Like here's a little bit of green in there, but it's not much more happening, right? So it's not like 1,000 different colors in there, which is also interesting. And of course, movies today use it a lot more strongly. Let me switch over here to the browser again. I think I had movie scenes here. No, this is from the composition. Let's just go here and type movie scene. Movie scene. Okay. For example, let me find one that's rather obvious. I mean, for example, this here. When you look at that picture, you can see that all of the background, everything else has been turned into blue. And then the only thing that is visible that is different is the guy here that is brown, right? And of course, all of these colors also have meanings depending on how the character is feeling, what the situation is. Like if you pay attention in movies, you will see, for example, the colors changing with the mood of the character or with the drama of the situation. For example, from dark to bright, from blue to warm, from cold colors to warm colors, things like that, right? Yeah. So all of that is very much on purpose, right? Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look at Midjourney. To check that out. Oh, should we talk more about these compositions here? We have this cross composition. What else is in here? The L composition is also very nice, where you have something big on the left and then the landscape below is more like a line. This is what creates the L shape in here. Oh, I think like the lower part here is just like combining different of these compositions here. Let's have a look what else is in here. Points of interest at the center. What else does this do? Yeah, okay, this is like unbalanced but inverted, right? So for example, here you have the reflection of two objects, one big, one small. Here you have the reflections of a big boat and a small boat. Things like that could be interesting. A group of mass, also very interesting. I wish these drawings would be better. So when you have like most of the image empty, and then in the middle somewhere there is something going on. There's a big mass of things happening there. We don't have good examples for that right now. I'm sorry for that. Oh, do I have maybe some better scenes here from Alma Tadema? What's 1 second? Where is that? There we go. Let me see. Like he's very good with composition, but a frame in a frame is also a classic method, although I don't see any of his images do. Oh, maybe here. Not really. Is this an example for that? Yeah, kind of, but not so great. Frame in a frame composition. All right, let's see. Oh, there we have an example of that. You see, so we have a scene here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. It's actually multiple frames here, but well, we have this kind of window in the foreground, and then there's another window in the background, and then there's people inside of that window. That is basically a very simple example of frame in a frame. Oh, I have I don't remember the name of the photographer though right now. And that is a classic technique to point something out in an image. Is that a good example here? Not so much. This maybe. It's a little bit drowsy, but you can see that the leg here is creating a second frame that is highlighting that guy here standing in the middle, right? Oh, there's another example. This is actually better. Let's have a look at this. So here, no, that's not the one. There we go. You see, guy in the foreground, some stuff happening, but then she's framed again with this frame in the background, so you can look at her. and she's pointed out more clearly in the image, because they could have, of course, like made another scene where he's standing in front of a mirror wall and you wouldn't see a frame around that. But that gives more OBS. Yes, I'm using OBS. And a green screen behind me. This is why you can like not see anything else behind me, right? Okay, let's maybe head over to. Is there something else I should show here? No, I think that's good for now, right? So you have seen, check out this page. You have seen there's a lot of different compositions and how to create them, right? Like how to draw them in that case. Okay, let's go over to disable stream mode here. I don't even know what stream mode does. I have to look that up. Okay, I created some stuff here already in Midjourney. Now, the best and easiest method that I found is to simply combine two images and then try to find one that works good and then create variations from that, right? So, oh, by the way, I could, do we have one that is upscaled here? This is upscaled. Okay, we can check this out. 1 second. So let's have this here. Clipboard. Okay. Good. So when we look at this, you can see when the guy is like completely in the middle of the image, you can see that this creates a very stable scene. And like he's kind of unmovable in the middle makes him pretty strong in the scene, right? Now when we move him to the side, like for example like this, you can see that this is much more dynamic and it tells us much more of a story about that person, because now the person is less stable, the person is off center, and there is some space to move into, right? For example, in this case, you can imagine that he is going here to the center of the image, right? So that is giving us a little bit of a change. We can also put this over here and create a different other scene like that, right? So that has a lot of impact onto how a scene feels, how a character feels in a scene. Right, I should also look at the I should look at the chat right now. Do you have any questions, anything? Like, I'm not great at conversation, so you have to fill the chat. How are you doing today? I don't know. Okay, anyways. All right, so you can see how this really is changing things. Now, by the way, another thing that is very important is the left and right dynamic in images. Let's have here flying plane. Should we could use, yeah, let's use this image here. Okay. Let's copy the image over. So, and this is I just show it with a plane because it's easier to understand, but this is true for any kind of image, right? So generally in an image, view, filter, arrange, flip horizontally, right? Okay, cool. So generally the way we understand images, and this is kind of international, is on the left side is home and on the right side is away. So when you put a character or an object on the left side and it moves to the right side, it's coming from home going away, right? So in this case, it is kind of easy to understand, kind of easy to see that this plane is flying away from something, right? It's going onto a journey, things like that, right? And when you have the same thing as I showed before, going the other way, this is coming home. This is coming from the outside back home into the country or whatever, you know? So that is a very easy thing to also create story, create meaning in an image. And you can do the same thing with this character here. Like, for example, when he is on the left side, of course, in this case, not ideal, but the left side feels a little bit more like he's home. On the right side, he feels a little bit more like he's away. Right, so you can also play with these kind of things. It would be better, in this case, he's running into the image. It would be better if he walked to the left or to the right, right? And another thing that is pretty universal is, let me have this again. You can have this with a plane or anything else. We have to zoom out here a little bit. If something is going from the bottom left to the top right, going upwards, right? And if it's going from the top left to the bottom right, it's going downwards, right? This is how we basically read everything. If you think about stock markets or any other thing, a line goes always upwards if it goes in this direction, and it goes downwards if it goes in this direction. You can, of course, also go downwards into the other way, like so, that if the object gives you an indication what kind of direction it's moving, you can see that this is also going downwards, right? But usually it's understood that something from the bottom left to the top right is upwards direction, right? So you can also play with that. Hard. How I prompt. Yeah, but you can use images for that. Right to left, but Asian. Nah, it doesn't have anything to do with writing, to be honest. Because even in those cultures, if you ask someone from that region, draw me a line that's going upwards, he's going to draw a line that is going from the bottom left to the top right. We just see images like that. Doesn't have to do anything with writing. I'm pretty sure even with manga or things like that, it's the same thing, even though they have a different kind of writing from the top to the bottom, things like that. So that's a different kind of thing with writing. Okay, anyways, so let's have a look at creating these images with Stable Diffusion, right? So I already created some, so we don't have to wait for the rendering. So two things I did for this guy in the park. There we also have other, we will come to that in a second. So first of all, I created an image, a beautiful grass park on a sunny day, 4K, 8K, and it just rendered out different scenes. Now these are off-center, luckily, so that's pretty cool. So you can just re-roll them until you get something that's off-center, something you like. Or what you can also do we have another park that's more centered? There, maybe this one here. Let's see. Like so. You can, of course, also copy this into any kind of editing program or online editing program. And then you could, for example, pull this over here. And something that I often do with images, especially with my thumbnails, is that I simply drag out the left side here. For example, I want to extend the left side. Doesn't have to be super correct. It's just an inspiration for Midjourney. So you just draw this out. You can see like that, for example. And like this, we already have a wide scene where this is off-center. The building is off-center. The tree over here is off-center. And it is a wide screen, 16:9. You can go even wider if you want to, right? So this is what I did here with... well, I actually chose that image, but I upscaled that. And then the second thing you want to do is to create a character that kind of fits. So here, where do I have that guy? I'm not sure which guy I used. Yeah, I used this guy here. So you want to create a character that fits the scene. So I have, in this case, the prompt, a man walking in a park on a sunny day, photorealistic, right? So you have this guy, and then you simply remove the background. You just like mask it out. You just like select the guy, in this case without the shadow. And then you can simply put that guy, you see, now the guy is here in the scene. It looks like crap, that doesn't matter. It's just for giving a Midjourney indication what you want to have. Because prompting something off-center with the right dynamic is, I don't think Midjourney often understands what you want. So this is much, much easier. And as you can see here, I still have zoomed into the image. The reason for that is because even though this is off-center, the main thing here, the river, is still happening in the center of the scene. So this is still centered even if it is off-center, right? So here we have a path. So of course I am using that path. Whoa, wait a second. What's happening? Did my software crash? Why doesn't it not? Why doesn't it? Ah, please don't crash. That would be very bad right now. Can we save this maybe? Save as, please. Let's write 01. Okay, let's just restart the software. 1 second. I think it's really, is it crashed? What the hell is going on? 1 second. Oh, it's asking, yeah, okay, anyways. What did I close? Did I not close the software? Oh, I closed my browser. There we go. Oh, it's all gone. Let's go to Midjourney again. Damn it. Okay, anyways. Oh yeah, restore. Thank you very much for that. Oh, there we go. You guys are back too. That's cool. Here's my stream. That's good. Let's see. Yes, everything is still here. That's good. Oh, sorry. No, I don't want to have that. Stop it. What's going on here right now? Midjourney. Oh, there's Midjourney. That we can close this off. I think this is the same as before. There's the movie scene. Okay, cool. 1 second. Yes. No. Oh, wait a second. Oh yeah, there's the other stuff, but the only thing I need right now is not there. So let's open this again. Okay, anyway, so we have here the guy, and you can just move around the scene like that, any way you want. Zoom in. You can also, of course, you can also like move things around in the scene. Like you can cut out that tree and just move it somewhere else, or paint out that tree, things like that, right? Paint it over with clouds any way you want. So then you export that as a JPEG, and then you upload that into Midjourney. Where do I have that? You can see here I have the scene that I've created. And then 1 second, have a look at the chat here. Do you sell the art you create? No, because I do YouTube, so I'm not selling the things. But I guess I know people who do that as NFTs, as prints, as Etsy projects, stuff like that. So you can do that. And you can see here, for example, in this case, that didn't work. The character is there, but it still went back to center because Midjourney loves the center. So I did some re-rolls. And in this case, wait a second, do I have here? No, this also said no minus no symmetrical. Here I had a typo, so maybe that's why. And here I have minus no symmetrical also. And here, most of them are centered, but then this one is not centered. Yeah, there we go. So finally, something good is happening. And of course, then you can create variations in here from that. And then you can go from there. So you can see that here we get more scenes that are, this is centered again, that are more off center. Oh, there's the variations. There we go. You see? So that can be very helpful. And of course, what you can also do now is that you can use these scenes again, right? So you can upscale them, you can download them, you can edit them, and then you can play around with that to make the scene more specific to what you want to have, and then try to use it again in Midjourney to create an off-center scene. Now, when we go up here, I have done the same thing. 1 second. With this spacecraft. What do I have here as a basis, by the way? Let's see. Ah, yeah, okay. So this is using one of these off-center scenes that is created here. Did I create it myself? I can't remember, actually. I uploaded that. Oh, yes, I did. 1 second. Ah, yeah, you see? So I created... Yeah. This is the scene of the spaceship. This is a little bit off-center. That's a good start. And again, because this is a desert, like let's use this one, which is more centered. Let's copy this image over. And again, of course, you can do the same thing here. Wait a second. Let's go like this. New from clipboard. And then I move this over here, for example. In Affinity Photo, we want to rasterize that, which makes it into a pixel image inside, not a smart object, but a pixel image. And then you can simply drag this out So you have an off-center ball in that case, the landing ship or whatever that is. And now I can put a character in here, right? So I created a character in a different image. You can also put a group if you want to, right? I wanted to have a character because it's easier to understand. So we have here a character which already is off-center, so that's already pretty nice. And then I upscaled that, and of course I selected that and then put that as a layer onto the image. So let's do this again, so you can see that. Oh, this is pretty big. 1 second. Let's put this here. In Affinity Photo, you have a selection brush that works most of the time pretty well. So you can see I can select it like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, just an inspiration for Midjourney. Don't worry about like the finer details. Let's click apply here. I have to rasterize this again. Rasterize. And then we have to go here. And there we have our character. And it has the same light. That is pretty nice. And now we simply flip that guy so he's looking towards that landing ship here. Now the light here, oh, the light is actually coming from the right side. That is also pretty cool. This is not really necessary. Don't worry about that. And now you have that, you can export that, right? So the thing, of course, that's happening here with Midjourney, it's doing a rough inspiration, so it's doing whatever it wants, right? But you can still see that we have a spaceship on one side and a character on the other side, even though sometimes it's a full body, sometimes it's a close-up, sometimes the guy is sitting. You just have to re-roll that until you find something that you like. So there's a lot of different variations here. And the good thing about that is with the re-rolling, you have, of course, the ability to find some things you enjoy more and get some new ideas in there, right? So always, if you see something, create a variation of that and see what else comes from that. Oh, by the way, one thing that is interesting here, did I use that actually? You can use chaos, you can use stylize to create more variation in these images. We could actually try that. So let me take this. This is a little bit annoying here with this popping up. Anyways, let me take this prompt here. Yeah, quality 2, maybe taking a little bit longer. Yeah, let's go like this. Okay, so this is using the image that I created, as you've seen before. And now in here, we can remove the V4 because this is added automatically. We are going to write, let's say S50, and then let's just do S50 for the start. Probably taking a little bit. And then what we are also going to do is to do here, let's say chaos 50 also. Okay, do I have the, yes, okay, so we can look at that. Let's go up here. Oh, I should look at the chat a little bit. 1 second, let me look at the chat. What are you saying? Okay, we are up here again. So Flavio says, Olivia, what is the best way to contact you? I need to advise and try to write you on Facebook. Oh yeah, I should answer the Facebook messages. Yeah, I always have that on my list, but I haven't come around to that yet. I'm sorry. That's a good question, actually. I mean, usually for questions, I have the Facebook group where you can ask the community, and I have the Discord where you can also use the community, and also I have someone who is answering questions on there for me. So Discord might be good. The Facebook group might be good to do that. I usually leave the answers to the community for the reason that it would take like all of my life to try to answer questions by 100,000 people, right? So it's better to help, the community helps each other. So this is my Facebook group. Please, if you join, answer the questions that are asked at the start, because if you don't, you are rejected right away. In the past, we looked at the profiles and checked out, is it a okay person? Is it a spammer? But it's too much work. So if you don't answer the questions, that's basically on you. So please answer the questions at the start. And this is my Discord, where I have to say I'm ashamed I'm not very active on there. I always try to be, but then I don't. But I need to be more active on there. But I mean, the day just have like how many how many hours do you have in a day? Discord, there you go, like productive hours, right? Anyways, this is my Discord. You can join. We have I don't know, but like probably over 3,000 people, and then on Facebook over like 33,000 people. So it's really big. Do I want to say anything else? I think that's it. Oh yeah, no, one more thing. When you come to this here, you see there's a ton of people here for some reason. I don't know why. You see this message here, you click on the heart to be allowed into the group. This is just to keep spam bots out and stuff like that. But apparently either these are all spam bots or they just don't understand to click on there. I made a specific message to please click on that, and still, I don't know, some people are not doing that. But a lot of people come into the group, so it's still working well enough. All right. Anyways. Technique to split an image composition into layers. No, I don't know any one of that. You can do it by hand, but automatically, as far as I know, I've not seen that. Let's go back here to my it's jumping back here. So you see, you get all these scenes here. So that's pretty useful. Oh no, this is the new scenes we created. Okay. Now we have to check out. So this is with S50, like the S50 is lower, so it sticks more to the prompt, less stylized. You can go higher. For example, we can do another with probably, I mean, this still looks very similar to the style, maybe a little bit more reduced. So let's give this a try with 750. I just want to show you the different options here, but this is one method of creating compositions, right? Okay. So here we have the next one. You can see we have Chaos 50. Now with Chaos 50, what this does is you can see this is not just creating very different things. It also stylistically is changing, like not from the style. That's not what I'm meaning. From the artistic style, artistic expression, things like that, right? So you can see, for example, this here on the lower left, it looks more like a movie screenshot, while this on the lower right looks more like a concept art drawing for a video game or for a graphic novel, stuff like that. And this up here looks more like a 3D art. So Chaos introduces more variation into the things you create. So if you're not sure about the idea, you want to play around more with that, get different styles, you can use Chaos for that. And when you want to have a little bit more control of the style, you can use --S with the values to give the stylistic, like the Midjourney style, basically, more or less impact. Like, do you want to have it more pure based on the prompt, or do you want to have it more Midjourney looking? What do we have down here now? Oh, yes. So you can see here, this one is S750. So you can see how colorful they are, high contrast, look like a digital painting, very expressive, all these kind of things. Now, when we go back here to the one that was S50, you can see that they are more timid. They are not like pow and contrast and color and action and ray tracing and whatever, all of that in there. They are more reduced, right? But at the same time, they have a little bit more cohesion maybe from the style. Everything fits a little bit closer together. Maybe that's good for a graphic novel, for example, things like that. Or when you don't want a picture that's like loud and out there, right? So you can clearly see a difference between these different images. Again, this one is with S750, right? Okay. So when you have found something where you think, hey, that's cool, I like that, click here on the variation button, and this is basically what is looping. Looping means that you create an image, let's say this image, and then you use this image as an input to create another image, and then you use the new image as an input for the next generation, right? So it's going from image to image to image to image, building up. Now, the good thing, of course, with Midjourney here is that you can decide which of these variations you want to use next. So if you see something in here that you want to enhance in the image, you want to have more of that in the image, you can use that as a basis to create variations. For example, here we have some stuff in the background. So if I make variations of this, I probably have 4 images with stuff in the background. While here, for example, we have a moon in the background, so you probably get variations with a moon in the background. So we can try this. Is this with chaos? No, this is without chaos. So we have V1. Let's try this here. And then we're using V2. And then we can wait for that. Okay. While we wait, let's talk about these other prompts that I showed you before. And then also some stuff higher up there in my list. 1 second. So here, this is another thing to create dynamic. Like here, a lot of stuff is happening. First of all, we have a camera that is looking from the bottom upwards, right? So we are lower than the character. Then also the character is looking upwards, and also the character is off center, and also he is a little bit from the side, so there's also dynamic in there. So there's a lot of different things specifically in this image happening, right? That all can be used in a certain way, right? For example, if you watch, like, a good thing to learn about composition, use of color, dynamic of the camera angle, of the relations between the things, is when you watch your Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. Once in a while, just hit pause and look at the scene and look what's going on, and then think about what is this scene trying to tell me. For example, when you have a camera that is pointing from a lower perspective upwards, like in this case, it makes the person look stronger and elevated and more powerful because you're smaller in that case and you're looking upwards, right? Like a child would look upwards to the parent, right? So this gives more power. So in this case, you could think about, well, the guy, he maybe knows something, maybe has an epiphany, something amazing is happening. Then you have also this kind of light spilling in from the back. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of story happening. Now, on the other side, if you have in any kind of show, if the camera is pointing downwards at the character, then usually that character is in a weaker position, right? There's something happening. He was caught, he's in jail, he has a debt to someone, stuff like that, right? And you can also often check out in shows. That's good because they take like half an hour or something like that. How this perspective changes over time. Sometimes it does. So the character starts out in a weaker position. So you often see that character either smaller on the screen or the camera pointing out on the character. And then when the issue is resolved and the character is like powerful now, the character is bigger and also often filmed from the lower part, right? I wish I could give you a good example right now. But nothing comes to mind. There is some cool stuff often happening, like for example in Star Trek, but I don't know these, like I can't pull up the screen for that right now. Okay, anyways, what I did here, very easy, is I just said man in a park, view from close to the ground pointing upwards, asymmetrical, volumetric light. This is why you see this light spilling in here from the back. And this works surprisingly well. You can see camera close to the ground pointing upwards. It creates some pretty extreme angles here, so you might want to refine that, but this often works pretty well. The camera is clearly often below the character. The character also is looking up in most of these images, so that's not so great. Here we have one where it's not looking upwards because it's a sculpture, but that has to be resolved in using the prompt. But you can see in many cases this is working very well. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, I tried here to say, for example, off-center in the prompt, but still it often created character. It is a little bit off-center, but it's not really off-center. Here is, again, it's very centered, right? But the camera is below, so you can play around with that. it's a very extreme perspectives also. It's very crazy. Here you have some examples that are kind of off-center, like the character's off-center, but the tree is in the middle still. By the way, this might be a good example to show you. One moment. Before we go back to the images we have rendered. So here you can see that we have the tree, and the tree, I don't know about you, but when I look at the tree looks very powerful, strong, overpowering, a little bit sinister, a little bit like Cthulhu kind of like, right? There's something strange going on. And this guy who stands here a little bit mindless, it feels like very eerie, right? And it feels like kind of the tree has power over this guy, kind of a very strange dynamic happening here. And a lot of that is happening because the tree is so much in the center and then fills so much of the image that is very overpowering to the rest of the image. Now look at what happens if I zoom into the image and we just show one part of it, like so. And you can see that now the scene is completely different, right? I mean, the tree is still big, but it doesn't feel overpowering. It feels different. It feels more cozy. It feels like the guy's just having a walk in the park. He looks a little bit sad from his body expression, but otherwise it doesn't feel like the tree's trying to eat him or anything like that, right? So you can see that this can be very powerful. And let's try, for example, to move this guy to the center of the image. And you can see he has a lot more control, right? Now he looks a lot more powerful than the tree and the other things in the park, right? So you can see how much of an effect it has where a character is, how the composition is in an image. You can also put him here on the side. Now he looks a little bit, I don't know, lost, right? Because he's that much off center. By the way, another thing you can do is, I'm not sure we can do this here, but when you have a character like this, for example, and there is a lot of, like, it would be better if he would stand at a lake or something like that, but if you have the character close to the bottom, then of course upwards usually is the sky, and the sky usually is open, right? So there is a lot of space to go into, there's a lot of space to explore. This is also a thing to think about. Where can the character move, right? Because, for example, if I have the character here, the character can't move down, he can't move to the left because the image is ending there. So he can move to the right in that case, right? So if I have him here and then a lot of stuff above him, he looks strong and he looks like he can explore the scene, right? Now, I'm not sure if we can do this here, but yeah, we can actually do this. Let's rasterize the image here real quick, and then I make a copy of that image. And then I pull this part down. 1 second. Like so. So you can see in that case, that guy is kind of hitting the ceiling. He doesn't have anywhere to go in that case, and he feels under pressure, right? He feels like claustrophobic somehow because his head is hitting the ceiling, and we imagine the end of the image always as a border where things are stopping, right? So in this case, he's pressed in his existence, not as powerful as before. Here, he feels very open and free. Here, he feels like he's pressed by the ceiling, right? Okay, so yeah. In the default framing, Utram, is that right? Do I read that? Ultam? I'm sorry. Says, in the default framing of this picture, the tree is being shown from a lower angle. So I think it appears more powerful. Yes, that's what I said before. If it's from a lower angle, it appears more powerful, right? My movie villain accent. Oh, the the German accent. Yeah, the Germans are always the bad guys in the movies, I think. But often, I think. Right? Often. But I don't have that much of a... thank you for writing it, but I still can't read it. I don't have my reading glasses on. It's kind of... Utam. Oh, with double T. I have to go a little bit more distant. Okay. What are we going to do? Oh, yes. Let's go back here. And then we are scrolling upwards because I want to show you something else that is important. Okay, so what did we do here? I actually can't remember. Why did I do them? I forgot about that. 750? Oh yes, I remember. So now, as I said, because we used the image with stuff in the background for the source of the variation, we have now here 4 images with stuff in the background, right? So here you see there's a rock formation, there is this kind of strange thing here, there is a hill very distant and a little bit of a, could be a vehicle or something very far in the distance. And here we have 2 structures, man-made structures in the distance. So if you say, hey, I want to have some man-made structures in the distance, of course, you go here. This is the image number 3, and you create variations of that, right? Now, when we scroll down here, we had the image with the moon. So at least here we have now 3 moons. There's some 2 like balls floating in the foreground. So that didn't turn out well. If it doesn't turn out well, just go to the original image, make another variation until you hit something that works better, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, this is already preparing here. And so you can see with the looping process, you can build up an image, you can get stuff in the image as you want it to be. You see, now we have a bigger structure in the background, man-made structure again. So we can, for example, we can loop this again by creating a variation based on that image. And you can go step by step by step. So for my image, I went step by step and I ended up with these variations. This here is a very interesting composition where you can see that you have these people here walking, but they are not walking toward this kind of lander here, but the lander has a humongous moon or sun in the background. This is creating a frame in a frame again. So this is making this lander here very strong and powerful. And these people here walking a little bit weaker. So they kind of feel like they are fleeing from something, maybe they are kind of lost, right? So very different dynamic to this picture here, for example. Right, wait, this is not the picture I wanted to show you. This picture here, for example, right? Where this guy here is standing and he's kind of looking toward the structure here. And then you have these other guys and they are kind of in relation to him. So he's more looking like he's exploring something and they are maybe landing, they are building a settlement there, things like that. Because also we have these 2 structures here that are also kind of connected towards each other. And also in this case, there's a pretty cool other composition in here where this guy is in red. And then we have here a rhythm of characters that are in black. So he is standing out also by color and also by size, and he's framed by these 2 characters, which is very nice. So in this composition, actually, there's a lot of very interesting stuff going on. So Midjourney can do really cool scenes. It's just a little bit hard to get there. Hey, Thomas, thank you very much for the donation. Really awesome. Thanks for supporting my channel. Always very welcome. You can, by the way, if you donate, you can also write a message in there if you want to, right? Okay. Okay, let's scroll down here. And then we have to scroll very high up. Oh, this is still rendering. Really? It's waiting to start. Okay, so let's go up here very, very high. Let me find that other stuff. 1 second. Oh my God. There we have the drones, very cool. Sleeping people, more sleeping. There we have posters. There I tried different things for the daily theme and for my Instagram. Wow, okay, there's a lot of stuff happening here. 1 second, we're almost there. Oh, we have here this, oh yeah, there we are. So here, let's go a little bit higher. Oh man, how much more do I have here? Oh, there we go. Okay, so what I want to show you here, I want to go to the start here because I want to show you the way that Midjourney is doing things. So this is a classic Midjourney scene, right? Now think about this as you want to either make a graphic novel or you want to make a video game, you want to prepare something for a movie, stuff like that. You want to create a story, a role-playing game, whatever, right? You want to have a dynamic scene. Now, the purpose of these scenes usually is that you want to create a scene where the experience of the viewer should always be, wow, I want to be there, something cool is happening, I wish I could play this right now. That should be always the feeling that the viewer gets from that. In this case, again, you can see everything is very static. There is nothing moving in here. The guy's in the middle, the gate is in the middle, then there's like, it's very like centered. Not dynamic, not cool, not interesting. It's a nice picture, but other than that, it doesn't tell much of a story, right? Okay, so what do we want to do? We have, let's go back to this image. What we want to do here is, first of all, off center, you want to have a distance between the gate and the person, so that the person is standing on one side, the gate is on the other side. So the person has to move to the gate, right? There's a little bit of a difference here happening, a distance happening. But also you want to have a more interesting, more dynamic camera angle, so action is inspired, action is simulated through the camera, right? So this, not great, not good for such a concept art. So here, we have other scenes. One second, let's go here. So this is already a little bit better. Here, it's a little bit off center, you see? Like the character is still on the center, but we have here a diagonal line, right? So we have stuff here mostly on the left side, which is also cold from the color. And then on the right side, he can move into that area where we have here this warm light, again, guiding with light, with shadow, with colors, with warm and coldness in the image. Towards that, right? So it's a little bit better, Okay, so let's go on here. Oh, there, you see, this is off center, much more frame in frame. The guy here is framed. He's a dark guy on a bright background. Pretty cool, because now you can see his silhouette. You can clearly see what he's having with him. So that's easier. And again, he's moving out of the shadow into the light. So that's already pretty nice what we have here. Then here we have a little bit like other ratio, never mind. Now here, this is becoming a little bit more interesting, because in this case, what we have is we have a lower camera that's looking upwards onto the architecture in the background. And what this is doing here, one second, let's copy this over here. This now brings together some things I've said before. So you can see, I need my brush, one second. You can see in this case, my brush is small and has the wrong color. I'm sorry, one second. Give me a moment to set this up here. Okay, there we go. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And then for some reason, this is transparent. Okay, this is good, like that. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of stuff above. He's stuck to the ground, or she's stuck to the ground. So she can explore into all of these different areas, right? So this gives us an idea of exploration. Now she looks strong because we are lower than her with the camera, but at the same time, you see here that we have these buildings, and of course, like, she's that big, but the buildings are that big, but because we have here also the path on the foreground and these other elements, we can see from the perspective that this gate is very big, so it's towering over her. And it creates these lines that are going like this, which also gives us a dynamic angle. For some reason, this is not going that way. Maybe it should, I guess. But you can see that this is also an angle, and the angle makes it dynamic. The huge difference here, let's find the image from before. One second. Okay, here. Good. Let's put this in here. So here what's happening is you have all these lines here, and they are all parallel kind of lines here. Very static. Everything is very static. Nothing is moving. You see, like this. Bleh. It's boring. Nothing is like flowing in the image, right? Okay. So when you have these other lines, one second, there you can see, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. One second. You see, like everything here, it should be a little bit more on the angle maybe, but everything here has a certain angle and is dynamic and is flowing into a certain way, right? So this makes all of the scene much more dynamic. One second. Sorry for that. Let's just delete everything in here. Okay, cool, right? So that's already a pretty good start. All right, let's go further in with variations, with re-rolling, stuff like that, right? Where do we have something? Let's see. Yeah, kind of the similar thing. This is also not bad. The character's off center. It's on a bright background. We have a building here that can be explored. The character can go towards the building, and the camera is pointing a little bit upwards. Not as dynamic as before, but a little bit. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. Do we have one that's better? Oh yeah, here, for example, this one is again, yeah, this one is centered again. But we are looking upwards, so maybe that's kind of good in this case, that the camera is going upwards. Yeah, so to get this kind of composition makes scenes much more interesting and has a much better flow for them. By the way, if you want to study a lot of that more clearly, what you can check out is a channel from Feng Su, I think is his name. Yes, here. He has a school for digital painting. And he has videos that explain a lot of that stuff. And he's also very, very good with composition. Let's go here. Feng Su. Let's see some of these images here. And when you look at these images, this is where you can really see the huge difference between what AI is creating right now and what artists are classically creating. So we can actually look here at some of these compositions. Like, for example, here, this is a very nice composition. I mean, basically all of his compositions are very nice. But here we have a lot of the things that I talked about before, right? So you can see here, it's off-center. We have a dynamic that goes here from the right to the left. We have here these characters. They are dark silhouettes on a bright background so you can see them. We have a kind of a bridge around them. This is a frame in a frame. So this is pointing out these characters so you look at them, but also the way is flowing towards them. They are going along this path, right? Also here on the right side, the colors are cool. And we have these kind of creepy, what they are called, roots from the trees. And then this is warm here on the left side. So you can imagine they coming out of a creepy forest into their cozy home, right? You get a lot of that impression here. And everything from the color, from the setup, from the architecture, it looks very cozy and nice and village and back to the roots kind of feeling. So it's like you feel like, oh, I want to be not only on that adventure that happened here on the right side, but I also want to go back here and explore the culture and the people and the fun and the music and whatever in this kind of village here, right? And here you have another scene. Again, you can see how this is off-center, how this, for example, is playing with a very big character on the left and then a small character on the right. But you can also see that the big character, even though he takes a lot more screen space, he has less contrast, the colors are more pale, and everything is cooler from the colors. And then this guy here, even though he looks like a creature from hell, he is high contrast, he has saturated colors, and he also has intense colors that attract attention. So you probably maybe look first at the big, but then you come directly to that smaller creature here because he's drawing so much attention, right? So this big creature and the small guy down here, they are the two main elements. Even though there's a lot more characters in here, a lot more stuff, you see the big relation between them. Also, you have another element here of composition. This huge monster is looking at him. You can see that. And then also the leg and the lines are going down to the character. So they are connected. You know that this guy is guiding that big guy, right? So yeah, you can do a lot with that. which is the program I use. This is called Affinity Photo. It's very affordable. It's pretty good. It's easier to understand than Photoshop. It has reduced features, but it has a ton of features still. So you can do very, very much everything you want to do. It doesn't have any AI stuff in there, no neural filters or anything like that. But you can do very, very cool things, and you can work very, very fast in that software too. And it's also a little bit more lightweight, so that's also good. So I can absolutely suggest to you to get Affinity Photo. This is version 2. They often have a sale. I'm not sure what it costs right now. Maybe if it's on a sale, maybe $40, something like that. One time, not subscription, just one time. You buy it and then you own it. All right. Okay. By the way, how long is the stream? I have. How long have I talked? Let's see. Oh, 1 hour 15 minutes. Okay, pretty cool. Yeah. So that was a lot of information in here today. Let's have a look here. By the way, you can, of course, also use these as inspirations and then like write a prompt for that and see what Midjourney is doing with that. As long as the image is different enough from the outcome, taking an artistic inspiration, I think is okay because all of the artists are doing that. Okay. So, yeah, I think that's kind of most of it in here. There I have these kind of liminal rooms, but that's not the topic for today. Do you have any kind of advice or tricks or things on how you do that? Is this important for you to do these kind of things? Yeah, it's way cheaper than Photoshop, right? I mean, Photoshop is also very good. If you, by the way, if you want to get Photoshop, let's show you that page. We can also go to the Affinity Photo page. So you should, I would absolutely suggest you get that software first, especially if you're a beginner with graphic software, because it's so affordable and it works really well. Do they not have like a page where it shows the... Oh, there we go. Oh, now it's like 85, but they often have a sale. So maybe wait for the sale if you want to. You can also get the bundle, 200. Right now, it's again, they make sales often. There's everything in there. Like Designer is like Illustrator, Affinity Photo is like Photoshop, and Publisher is like InDesign, which is for layouts, for example. And then for Adobe, when you want to get Photoshop, this is very important. Where do we have the products here? Photoshop. Let's click on this. Yes. What you want to get is, wait a second. They have here, they have a Lightroom thing for $12 a month. This is the new Lightroom, not the classic Lightroom. So don't get that. It's not good. What you want to get is the Lightroom Photoshop abo, which also costs $12. This only has 20 gigabytes of cloud, but do you really need that? Now, the important thing here is you get Lightroom Classic, which is the powerful Lightroom. You get the new Lightroom, which is a light version of it, but it has also very cool features. And you get Photoshop, and you get a ton of other apps that you can use on your iPad, on your phone. Yeah, it's like there's a ton of things in here. For $12, it's actually really worth it. But Affinity Photo is also very good, right? If you want to get that. Okay. There in the US it's 69. Yeah, probably because in Europe we have the good old VAT, which is very high here. It's 20%. So yeah, this is why right now stuff in Europe is a lot more expensive than like software than when you buy it somewhere else in a lot of cases. Okay. Let me switch here to the big screen. Having a little bit of a break. This was very long right now. Do you have like any other questions or any kind of other thing? All right. I actually in my Facebook group, we can check that out also. I do daily challenges in there every day, different topic. You can post. I also do that in my Discord, but in my Facebook group, it's a little bit more obvious because it has more. It has more abilities to curate a community. It's done for some reason. It's done better than Discord. You would think Discord is made for gamers, for communities, for clans. The features really bad. On Discord, on Facebook, really good features for community building. I also do a Facebook. I do two things, by the way. I should actually show that on the screen. I'm not sure if I can show something right now. 1 second. Can we see these? No, you can't. I do a Friday post where you can post your best works on Friday. So once a week. And then another thing I want to do, there's the daily challenges, but these are the scheduled challenges. That's not good to show. I can't see it. This is the one thing, like it's a little bit hard to find your own post if you have challenged a ton, if you have scheduled a ton of posts. But another thing I want to do is, let's go to Instagram here real quick. I want to post your stuff on my Instagram. Mike, we can switch over here. Oh, this is not. Why is this so off center? Oh, that's because of the design. Okay, anyways. So I post some of my stuff here, which you see here, the liminal rooms here in the hotel. But then I also want to post your stuff. For example, this here is by JKMGM2. So he made these really, really cool portraits here. So I will make a post in my Facebook group where you can then comment with your Instagram name, ideally, because then I can link to you, and an image with a 1:1 ratio that I can use. And I will choose some that I like and then post them on my, this is, for example, by Laura AI Art, I think. It's written a little bit differently. But yeah. You can also follow me here, right? On my Instagram if you want to. That would be really cool. Let me pop this out here. Oh, and it says, please make an ad. So let's make an ad. Pop out. There we go. I can put it now here. All right. Yeah, so this is another thing I want to do to promote my community, the cool stuff that is happening. Yeah, that's it. Like right now, I'm really on a mission to like give more exposure to the community and share more like positivity about AI art. It's a pretty big thing I try to do. Also in my community, just getting people excited and more active. And yeah, what's this? Kind of, I don't know. Maybe I have to look at that later. Okay, anyways, you see there's a ton of posts in here with like 33,000 members in the group. I also can post this in here if you want to. All right. By the way, amazing design on the fabric. Yeah. I bought, let me go to the big screen here. I was in Bangkok for 2 months, December, January. I think I will do this year again at the end of the year. It was really amazing to be there for 2 months. Next time I think I will stay there for 3 months. With my laptop, working from there, making videos from there, which was amazing. And I love these Hawaii shirts. So I went to the market. I bought, I think, 20 or 25 Hawaii shirts, all different designs. They're really cheap. You get them for like $3. So yeah, that's, I'm so happy about them. And last time I was there, I bought like 10 shirts and I really enjoyed them. And people like, also when I go out on the streets, people say, hey, cool shirts. So that's also nice, giving a little bit more flair and getting people happy. And this time I have like 20, so next time maybe I get even more, so I can have a different shirt every day. Anyways, there we go. Okay. What else can we talk about? I think I have talked a lot about composition. And with the prompts, like I said, I think it's in most cases, it's kind of better to just design the scene you want to have and then play around with that, right? We can actually, let's go here back to the bottom because we had these other images also. Wait, I can jump here to that. So we can switch over here. So last time we were here, you see, now we have these 4 images. Of course, this building here is also always changing a little bit. So that's maybe the downside. So sometimes another thing you want to do here is maybe copy over different elements together that you like, and then use this as another starting point, right? You can also adapt, of course, the prompt a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. So for example, let's try this. My cat is, oh, we can actually, Belusi. 1 second. Komm mal her, Belusi. Belusi, ich weiß, dass du Hunger hast. Du kriegst gleich was. Belusi. Yeah? Everybody wants to see you. Say Mau. Say Mau. Mau, Mau. 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 Say Mau. Mau. Belusa. Say Mau. No? No Mau? Come on. One Mau. One Mau Mau. Please, come on. Huh? No? Mau. Okay. All right, that's enough. Okay, anyways. Let's use this here, and then we can say, for example, here, by the way, the way I'm doing this is when you go to settings on Midjourney, so you type / and then settings, so you go in here, you get this part here. I have the remix mode. This is why I always get a prompt, like a pop-up window that, oh, you can't see that. Sorry, 1 second. So you set, like I said, / settings, enter, and then you have these settings here. Down here's the remix mode. You can see it's green, so it's turned on. And this is why I get this pop-up. Now I can go in here, for example, and I say, let's see, the prompt is man in a hazmat suit looking at a gigantic round ball-shaped spaceship landed in the desert next to an oasis. So the oasis never appeared, but round ball-shaped. Let's write here with highly reflective surface. How do you write reflective? Spell check. It's great that it does a spell check and then doesn't offer me the correct version. That's very helpful. Thank you very much. Or is it? Oh, reflective. There we go. Okay. Let's see what this does, if this works or not. So you can change, you can adapt that prompt, you can write stuff in there. Let's see if this gives me a reflective. We can also go in here again. Let's try something else. Landed, ball-shaped spaceship, industrial style. Okay, let's see what this does. Okay. Anyways. The cat move. My wife and I have 5 cats. Wow, that's a lot. Okay. Cats are always great. That's really, yeah. They always make you happy. They are very selfish, but they also like make you happy at the same time. So let's see what we get here. This is with the industrial style. This is with the reflective surface. I don't think that worked too well. So these kind of remix things, they are a little bit like, yeah, especially with long prompts, kind of hard to get things that you want to have. And now the question is which is which? Because for some reason now with these larger pictures, this is only showing you the, but we can actually click on this. So this is industrial style. And a little bit more. You see, like with this, for example, it looks a little bit more industrial. So that's pretty cool compared to before. What was the before? This is the before. You see, it's very like soft. It has these lines here, but it's very soft at the same time. So this is a little bit more industrial, but with the new version, you see with this one, for example, turned out pretty nice. And of course now, when you do a variation, this is also part of the prompt in the variation. So we can click on that again. And then where's the other one? Where's the reflective? Did I not do that? Did it not render yet? Oh, high relief reflective surface. Yeah, that's kind of didn't work. There is a little bit of reflection here. There's a little bit of reflection here, but not too much. So that you would have to play a little bit more with the prompt. Oh, and this is, okay. Now here we have the variations of that with the industrial style. And you can see because I chose this one here that has this reflective window here and this kind of industrial style here. We're getting more of that here now in these versions. You see, now it's intensified and you can click and like just move through them. So yeah, that's a very good thing. And it's kind of reflecting here also the landscape, which is pretty cool. We can again take this and you can just go on until you get something you like. All right. I think that's it for today. I don't want to drag this out for too long. I think I said everything I wanted to say for today. It was a pretty cool stream. Oh, the music is starting. Let's wait for that a little bit. 1.5 hours. That's already pretty good, I would say, for live stream. So thank you very much for that. It was amazing again to have a stream with you. Thanks for joining me. I hope I could share some wisdom and interesting insights, especially about these kind of compositions, working with colors, with contrast, with light and dark, with warm and cold. Think about that. And like I said, one of the best things you can do is when you watch your shows, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, push the pause button once in a while, look at the scene, think about what it's expressing, and then go to the next scene, pause it again, see what has changed. Is it lighter? Is it darker? Is it warmer? Is it cooler? Is it less or more chaos? Where's the character on the left, on the right? Stuff like that, right? Think about that, and you will learn a lot about compositions, colors, all these kind of cool things. Okay, I'd say that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you. Wait, I have to look for the end screen. There you go. See you soon. Bye.